We are.
Where's my mouse? That's so that me and I had one job. Oh, you're so cute.
All right, I think we're live. Hi, everyone.
Really loud. Come on. Are ready?
Okay, go.
Let us begin. Welcome, everybody.
Greetings.
People
Hello.
are coming in the door.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. Now, are we able to set our view so that we can see
Yes,
most of the people?
gallery view.
Was that Fred that I heard?
That was Fred. He is
Hey,
there.
Fred.
There he is.
Yep, there he is, thumbs up and
Is
all.
that the view options?
And we've got Percy and Kim are back. And Maria Sutherland. Hello, Maria.
Oh, that view.
Side by side count.
We can do that. I think it's the best I can do right now.
Okay. Can't quite see everybody. Well, that's okay.
Oh, everyone that has their camera on.
Oh, there we go. All right. So welcome everybody to the August, no, yes, it is August.
It is August.
Feels like it should be September because the university just started up. The August 2021 edition of 21CM Presents. That's our new name. We used to be the Monterey Digital Marketing Meetup, but now we're 21CM Presents. And 21CM Digital Marketing is a full-service digital marketing agency committed to helping our clients grow their businesses by creating a strong digital presence. We hold these sessions each month to explore digital marketing tools, techniques, and strategies, and to stay up to date in the ever-evolving world of digital marketing. We're hybrid, which means that we're being really klutzy here because we're in person and we don't remember how to be in person. You're online, you probably remember how to do that because that's what we've all been practicing for the last year and a half. You all can chat and we'll be watching chat. You can chat with one person or everyone. If you put questions in chat, we'll pull those out, make sure they get answered. If you want to speak, that's great. Remember to unmute yourself. And a note that we are recording this session and we will be posting it online on our website. So if you prefer not to be recorded with your face, remember to turn off your camera. But other than that, we like to see who we're talking to. So please have your camera on. Okay, next. And this is us, our team. My name is Brad Barbeau. I am the CEO of 21CM Digital Marketing, and I'm also professor of entrepreneurship at Cal State University, Monterey Bay. And I'm the executive director of our Institute for Innovation and Economic Development. With us tonight online, we have Anjika Brunager, our website designer, who is coming in from Portland, Oregon, where she lives. Say hello, Anjika.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for showing up.
Cool. Thanks for coming in all the way from Portland.
Of
We
course.
have Lynette Lathrop, our customer success specialist. Lynette's live here with us and she's driving tonight. Say hello, Lynette.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
We also have Bridget Cotton, social media specialist.
Hi, I'm in the back over here.
And importantly, but he's not in the room right now, Bridget brought her husband this evening, who is a chef and put together an absolutely fabulous cheese board for us. So all of you who are online, you're missing out. So next month, make sure you're here. We're planning to make that a regular feature. Coming in from, where is that place that Prunella lives? Up in
Redwood City.
Redwood City.
Redwood City, that's right, up in Redwood City, but originally from Norway, we have Pernilla Dahl, our web developer. Say hello, Pernilla.
Hello.
And Bridget Hogan is not with us this evening. Well, she's not in the room this evening or on broadcast. She is working. So let's roll. All right. We'd like to find out who you all are. So if you do your introductions in chat, put your name into chat and say a little bit about you and who you are. This is your chance to do some free advertising. Let everybody know what you do. And we've got a couple of folks who are in the room and not on Zoom. So give them a chance to introduce themselves. VJ, you want to do a quick introduction of you and what you do?
I am VJ and I own a new car buying services in PG, and I'm here to learn some stuff and be smart with social media advertising and absorb a lot of knowledge.
Excellent. Thanks for being here, VJ. And we have Adam Gordon.
Hi, everybody. My name is Adam Gordon. I'm the CEO of Plum.one, PLUMB.one. We're a new search engine. We're building the search engine that everybody wants. Please go try us.
And I have good evidence that that's true, that he says it is the search engine that everybody wants. Plum.one, PLUMB.one.
So a year from now, you won't say, did you Google it? You'll say, did you plumb it?
Plummet.
Can,
There we go.
can we
And
put a
so-
link to that in the chat?
Sure.
Thank you.
Lynette, could you
Yep.
Yes.
please?
Planet's good at that. So give us the one sentence on what makes Plum.one special.
Plum gives you a faster path to higher relevant content, higher relevancy content.
Sounds like a tagline to me.
There you go.
Excellent.
When search turns into research, Plum is a better search product.
Oh, nice.
Well, there we go.
Very good.
Excellent. We also have in the room our special guest for tonight, Lindsay Horton. Say hello, Lindsay.
Hi.
And we'll hear from Lindsay just a little bit down the road here. All right. Where are we at here in the process? So tonight's agenda, we have the tip of the month, and tonight's tip of the month is coming from Lynette Lathrop, our customer success specialist, and she's going to tell us about using Instagram Reels. That's R-E-E-L-S, not R-E-A-L-S, but they are the real thing. And then our special guest, Lindsay Horton of Social Monterey, will talk about social media for the small business owner. So let us move into our tip of the month. Lynette, what's the new thing we should be doing?
All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Lynette. I am going to present this month's tip of the month. We're going to talk a little bit about Instagram Reels and how it can increase engagement for your online community. Instagram Reels, just a quick little intro, is a new feature or relatively new feature that Instagram has implemented on their platform. It helps us post, as content creators, post short videos for our audience, and it helps audience be able to absorb content a lot easier in the video format. So here's a little bit more about the reel. It can be anywhere from 5 to 60 seconds long. And I'll show you a little bit later about how you can access that. These can be used for a variety of purposes. You can share new products, educate your audience. This is also a really good way to share ads for free on the Instagram platform. You can access these through the home screen on the Instagram app, the Reels tab. I'll have a little screenshot about that a little bit later. And in the Instagram Stories camera. You can even add popular audio to increase the searchability of this content. So this is something that Instagram is really implementing to compete with other social media platforms like TikTok or Snapchat, or similar to what people have seen as in Vines. So here is an example of where you can access this. So on a regular Instagram profile, you can see the reels of a particular company or individual profile under the Reels tab in their profile. And this is an example of a skincare company that really takes advantage of this new feature offered by Instagram to show new skincare products, to show tutorials, and really push advertising for their new products. A few quick facts about the Reels feature for Instagram. Instagram has seen an increase in up to 80% in users watching videos on the platform. So we can really see from the stat that video is a more popular or upcoming more popular format of content that people are really liking. 33% of the most viewed stories are posted by businesses. So a third of the stories that are posted are by businesses, and they're really taking advantage of this free advertising functionality on the Instagram platform. It also gives you a really easy way to edit short videos. So right now, if you log on to Instagram, you can see that these features include like really smooth transitions that you can edit. You can add custom audio or audio that's really popular and searchable on the platform. You can even add hashtags and text overlay on the videos. One of our social media experts, Kennedy Marshall, who's not here right now, suggested that you can add 15 to 30 hashtags in the caption of the reel. And another thing she has been practicing using and has seen some success with is adding these other hashtags on the bottom of the screen, such as hashtag InstaReel, Reels of Instagram, Instagram Reels, and hashtag Reels. So I wanted to share with you a quick example of a reel, and this will open up in a new window. Okay.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just going to turn off the sound here. So we thought this was a really good example of what a reel can do. So in this video take, they took it in sections, and you can see them transitioning from one product to the other, really showing what the product looks like, the packaging of each, and the name of each product. You can also see in the caption that they are showing a promotion that they're doing. So you can see for the next 7 days, take 30% off 10 of our summer staples. So this is a free way of advertising products, showcasing what it really looks like in person, and doing a shout out for any promotions you're doing. Let me go back to the slide. So that is our wrap up for the Reels and how you can use that to promote your business and get free advertising on the Instagram platform.
Can you show us how to access those again, Lynette?
Yes. So let me go back.
I want free advertising on Instagram.
Yeah, so right now, when you go on your profile, you can click Reels here, or when you click the profile picture, it'll pop up a video upload screen or a picture upload screen. And on the bottom right, you can flip through the selection that says Reels, and that's where you can upload or start recording content. So that's the easiest way to get to accessing your Reels on Instagram.
It's on the profile.
Yes, you can access it there.
Cool. So, and Kennedy was telling me the other day that a reel she put up for Veronica a couple of weeks ago hit 4,000 views in the first hour.
Wow.
So this is getting some nice visibility through the reels.
Yeah, Instagram is really prioritizing this type of content and giving more favor to video content such as Reels. So if you have a public account and you're posting Reels, you're more likely to be discovered by other users on the platform and other users searching related hashtags that you've added.
Cool. Thank you very much, Lynette. Excellent.
Moving forward.
Moving forward. Trying to find my notes here. There we go. All right. That was our tip of the month. And now it's time for our main event of the evening. And our guest presenter, Lindsay Horton. She is the founder of Social Monterey. Before founding Social Monterey, she was a marketer for the Northern California Golf Association. I got that right?
Yes,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. And I would note that Lindsay this last spring won the Main Street division of the Startup Challenge New Venture Competition. So she's generating some really good excitement about her business, Social Monterey. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about how social media works for a business owner. I see a lot of people who will do social media for their business, and they do it kind of the same way that they do it for themselves. And I'm thinking maybe that's not the most effective way to use social media if you have a business. So Lindsay, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Brad.
And tell us about how we can use social media the best.
All right, let's see. Let me share my screen here. All right, so yeah, like Brad mentioned, a lot of people think, I run social media on my personal accounts. I can also run it for my business, but there are a few key differences, and we're going to get into those. So first, I wanted to say is that, as a small business owner, people have known for a while that social media is an important marketing component for their business. But 2020 really made it essential. And, we're back in person here today, but there are still a lot of people who are mainly staying at home, mainly staying online. And so what I like to say is social media really is the new foot traffic, especially for small and local businesses. People aren't walking down Alvarado Street every, afternoon or weekend, or down Lighthouse or wherever your business may be located. And so it's really important to have that digital footprint to make sure you're getting in front of your ideal customer or client. I'm Lindsay. I'm the owner and social media expert behind Social Monterey, and I help small business owners simplify social media with easy strategies, tools, and I like to say a little bit of fun. So with that, we can jump right into one of my favorite games to play. Are you ready to feel old? So it's hard to believe, but modern social media has been around for nearly 20 years, with MySpace launching in 2003 and Instagram in 2010. And that's not even getting into Snapchat and TikTok and Pinterest and all those other things that we see being used. But what this means is that for a lot of people, or a lot of younger audiences have used social media longer in their life than they have lived without it. So even, for some of our older audiences, we're seeing that at a 20-year mark, it's made an impact and it's here to stay. I know personally, my grandma has a Snapchat, so it's not, something that's just for younger audiences or just for millennials. Everyone is using social media.
So are you going to ask who had a MySpace at one point?
You can raise your hand if you want to know. And so a small business owner point of view is often, well, I've used social media for years now. So how hard can it be to run the social media for my business as well? But there's a few key differences between running your personal social media and running your professional social media. So I want to dive into those and give you guys a few examples and then my advice on what you should do as far as each of the key differences. So the first key difference is platforms. There are so many different social media platforms that you can be on today. And as a personal account, you are going to lean towards what you enjoy using, where your friends and family are quote unquote hanging out, maybe, celebrities or TV shows or whatever sort of things you're into, whatever platforms those people are on, that's probably where you are spending your time. If you're into, more business oriented items, you might be on LinkedIn. Maybe if you're more into personally like crafting or recipes, you might be on Pinterest. So you could be using multiple platforms daily. But when we think of our business and our professional accounts, maybe you don't spend a lot of time on, let's say, Instagram. But you need to be where your ideal customers and clients are hanging out. So that means that you may need to step out of your comfort zone and get on one of those different platforms that you don't spend your personal time on. My advice is, number one, don't try to show up on every platform. As a small business owner, we're spending our time not only, running our business, but marketing it and doing all of the things. And so when we try to show up everywhere, it often leads to burnout. So what you should do is focus on one or two platforms that your ideal customer and client is hanging out on, and really focus your energy there. For small and local businesses, and this is really brick and mortars and service providers, I would highly suggest Instagram and Facebook to start out, because your local customers are probably engaging in their local community, following their other local restaurants or businesses there. So that's usually where I would suggest. And then always try to master one before you try to add in a second or third. The second key difference is going to be content. So when you're posting to your personal account, and we'll take a look at this, I have no shame in showing you guys my personal posts, but personal accounts, you're posting what you want to post, what you like. It doesn't have to be high quality or well planned out or even really, thoughtful, but you're showing little pieces of your life, maybe that you want your friends and family to see. Maybe you're highlighting a memory in your life that you just want to have cemented there. But your professional or business account should really be highlighting what your ideal customer or client wants to see. You should also be trying to use higher quality imaging. So, rubbing the thumb smudges off your camera before you're taking photos, or not posting blurry photos. And then your content should aim to do one of the following, and that's to educate, entertain, inspire, or inform your audience. It should be noted there that it doesn't say that you should be selling all the time. A lot of times business owners think like, oh, well, if I don't constantly sell, then they won't know I'm providing this product or service. But what you want to do is create a relationship with your audience through your content, and then that will lead to sales. So let's just take a quick look at my personal, some posts from my personal Instagram. If you were ever to look at it, you would never know that I'm a social media manager. I haven't posted since October of 2020, maybe. Yeah. So, but this is stuff that I like to post. I had pizza in East Village, New York City, and these are also the captions. I held a baby sloth, which was the highlight of my life, in Honduras. And then this is just a beautiful photo at the beach club in Pebble Beach that I really enjoyed. And so none of it's really valuable to anyone else but myself. Maybe my grandma might like that photo of me with the sloth and think it's fun, but mostly people are just liking the stuff of their friends and family because we just want to see what's going on in each other's life, especially, in the past year when we have all been isolated. But when we look at a professional account, it looks a lot different. So number one, you can tell that it has the cohesive, sort of branding and imaging, but also the captions are going to be different. So I personally want to work with small and local business owners. So my content is going to focus on social media, number one, but also the struggles or even highlights that small business owners have. So, number one, what we were just talking about, you don't need to do all of the things to be successful on social media, or social media is the new foot traffic. Read the caption to find out why, or just something inspiring that every day is a new opportunity to make decisions you can be proud of and that move you closer to crushing your goals. So you can see very different. And when we look at the advice here, it's not to constantly use social media to sell your business, but use social media to tell the story of your business. People buy from people. So as you're telling these stories, that will eventually lead to people knowing, liking, and trusting your business and eventually wanting to work with you. So before you're writing or creating your content, you should think about your audience. So what do they want to hear? What are they, what are their pain points? What are they looking to glean from your business? Your expertise. So how can you take those items that your audience might need and put your field of expertise and show them the solutions, and then sort of your special sauce. So what sets your business apart? What's your why? Why would they want to work with you over any other service provider or any other local business? And then use those ideas to craft your content. And then I do want to say that your feed doesn't have to be perfect, especially as we're moving out of the COVID era and getting back in person. People are finding authenticity, especially on social media, very important. So we don't need the curated, perfect photos, or the perfect feed, but people should be able to tell who you are and what you do at a quick glance from your profile. The third key difference is hashtags, geotags, and tags. So on your personal profile, they have little to no importance. And we often see them misused. We see that grandma's post on Facebook that says, "I love my hashtag granddaughter." That really does nothing for grandma's profile of seeing her or getting her out there. So not only do they, have little to no importance, but they're often being misused, or you may just not use them because, again, your friends and family are seeing your posts. They're just not that important. But when we're looking at our business accounts, they are extremely, extremely important. Not only do they help potential customers and clients find your posts, but they greatly expand the reach of your posts outside of your general audience. So let's take a look here. So if you're unfamiliar, hashtags are going to be these sort of little relevant keywords or phrases after a hashtag or pound symbol. And so they categorize social media posts and help them show more easily when people are looking for them. So you can almost think of them as like SEO or keywords for your social media posts. And people often use these to find different businesses, so you can see in these ones, yes, I'm posting social media marketers, social media management, but I also want to work with local businesses. So I'm posting hashtag Monterey business, hashtag Monterey hairstylist. The geotags, so this is a photo I took on the wharf. So it's Monterey Old Fisherman's Wharf, and it's assigning a geographical location to a photograph or video that you're posting. And then the tags and mentions. So if you are tagging other businesses or industry partners that are relevant to your post, you can tag them here. So this is a post I did about businesses that I've worked with this year or people in my life that helped cheer me on through my first year of business. It should be noted that while all of these help increase reach, you should only use them if you're relevant. So in this case, yes, I have a lot of tags on this photo, but you shouldn't just be like tagging everyone you know on every photo, because they, number one, are probably going to get annoyed. But all of these items should be used, but they should be used in a relevant manner. So my advice is not to leave them out. They increase your reach and engagement. You can grow your community and build either your brand or your personal brand. For hashtags specifically, I would focus on the niche hashtags, which is going to be less than 200,000. And if you're unsure of how to choose them, number one, especially for small and local businesses, focus on location. So in this case, hashtag Monterey Peninsula, Pacific Grove, Carmel by the Sea, all of those. Your expertise. So if you are, hashtag Monterey restaurant or hashtag Monterey real estate or hashtag Monterey hairstylist, whatever your expertise is, you can do both that paired with your location. Your ideal customer and client. So maybe if you're a gym, and you're looking for people who maybe it's, I don't know, hashtag girls who lift or things like that, you can find they would be considered community hashtags that are probably broader than just our local community, but that people are engaging with consistently. And then the actual post. So if it's, a holiday or you have like a glass of red wine in the photo or wherever your location is, you can also use those for picking your hashtags as well. And like Lynette mentioned, you can use up to 30 hashtags in your posts on Instagram specifically. And then the fourth key difference is going to be your strategy. And this one is probably, I would say, second to last, the most important. We'll see the last one, I guess, last. But for personal social media, you're posting what you want, when you want. You don't really need to optimize any of your posts. They're being shown to your friends and family or your friends on Instagram or Facebook. But when we're looking at our business or professional accounts, number one, we always want to use data and analytics to steer our strategy. So taking a look at those insights, I always get asked, what's the best time to post? When's the best time for me to post is going to be different. When's the best time for you to post, for example, or what days of the week work for me might not be the same for your audience. So look at that data and figure out what's working for you. Also figure out what's not working for you. So you can see what are your most popular posts and what are your least popular posts. And those ones that are the least popular, cut them out of, your posting. I oftentimes find it's things that myself or when we're working on strategies for other businesses that they're posting because they like it, because they think it's cool, because they think it's, what they should be posting, but that's often not what's resonating with their audience. And then optimization is key for any business social media. So we always want to optimize our bios and optimize our posts. So we'll take a look at both of these here.
So we've got a question just popped up there about where do we get the data to find out when is the best time to post?
Sure. So if you are on Instagram, if you are looking at you have to be a business profile, number one, but there should be just a little button when you're looking at your own profile that says insights, and it'll show you the insights for your content. So like, what are your most popular posts? It'll also show you the insights for your audience. And that's where you can see where they're located. You can see, where they're located, their age, their gender, what days and times they're on the most. And it really gives you like a complete breakdown of your audience on Instagram. And Facebook has a similar feature. I think now it's the business manager. And they have all of those data points broken down there as well.
I'd also note that some of the posting platforms, we use Sprout Social, and it provides lots of feedback about when's the best time to post.
Yes,
also
those do as well.
So, and you have a note in there, it says optimize bios. How do you think about optimizing a bio?
I'm glad you asked, Brad. So for Instagram specifically, there's a lot of things that you can do to, number one, optimize your bio for searchability. Instagram also, you only have 150 characters to get your point across on who you are, what you do, and why or how someone can work with you. So I like to break it down into these 8 items that you should have. So number 1, if you are a service provider and your profile picture should be a profile of you. I love my logo. I think it's the cutest thing in the world, but no one knows what Social Monterey is until they know that I'm Lindsay and they're who they're going to be working with. So if you're a single service provider or single business person, I would highly suggest to put a photo of yourself. I know sometimes that's scary because it's like you're putting yourself out there, but unless you're a brick and mortar or a team, a photo of you makes that connection with someone instantly. They can recognize your face and put it to your business. The second item is going to be your name. So you guys can see that my handle is Social Monterey. So that's my business name. But what a lot of people don't know is that the name section, so that's where it says Lindsay Social Media Expert, is also searchable. So by having them different, now if anyone searches Social Monterey, or if they're searching social media, or maybe they're searching social media manager, or maybe they're just searching Monterey, I'm now coming up under all of these keywords. So this is what I would say if you're going to do anything today, or the first thing that you're going to do to optimize your bio is making sure those 2 things are different. The third item is that first sentence should really tell what I like to call the I help statement should really tell people what you do, who you serve, how you help them. So mine says helping small business owners save time and build thriving online communities through social media. I always like to make the next line some sort of personal anecdote. So for me, it's local business owner and supporter. For my mentor, she has oat milk latte and cheap white wine connoisseur. I see a lot of like dog mom and fitness junkie or travel junkie, but having something like this gives someone something right away to connect with you and sort of, make that personal connection outside of just, oh, she runs a social media agency. And then a call to action. So we always think, oh, well, obviously I can put my website here and anyone can click it, but it is incredible how often we literally have to almost pull teeth to get someone to take the action that we want them to. So I always like to put a down arrow or the pointing down emoji and tell them what I want them to do. So whether that's booking now for 2021 or get your free social media planner or whatever you want them to do, make a reservation at a restaurant tonight. Give them a clear call to action and put a down arrow so they can click your website and do it right away. And then if you are a business account, which you can't do this on personal or creator account, is you can actually put your location. So you can see it says Monterey, California here. And so if you are brick and mortar, you can have your physical location, which is wonderful. But even if you're not a brick and mortar, having that location gives another thing for someone to easily make a connection with you. I have had people who don't live in Monterey, but who I now work with because they were looking for a social media manager and they recognize Monterey, or like Monterey is not that too far away, or my brother went to NPS 10 years ago and I always love visiting there. And it's just another way that people can make a connection with you and your business without ever working with you or stepping foot into your location. And then always, this one seems obvious too, but making sure your contact information is up to date. So if you're going to the correct website or your telephone number is up to date, and that's just something I always suggest you double check. And then for post optimization, which we just talked about kind of all of these things through all the other information, but you want to include, number 1, a scroll stopping headline. So what's going to make them want to keep reading what you're posting? A lot of times a question, or I like to do maybe something a little bit polarizing or something they might not think a social media manager would say, and then say, read the caption to find out why I'm saying this with the down arrow, but getting them to want to read more. And then you can put all of the details in the body text. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be a call to action. And this is what I find a lot of business owners tend to include in their posts. So what do you want them to do? Do you want them to click the link in your bio to, make a reservation or visit your website? Do you want them to join your email list? Do you want them to leave a comment? Do you want them to save the post to come back to it later? Whatever you want them to do, make sure that you're telling them. Again, we have to almost like leading a horse to water, all of those things. Giving them a call to action really helps people engage more with your posts. And then again, always include your hashtags, and then the bonuses are the geotags and relevant tags or mentions. So my advice for strategy is, number 1, create a social media strategy that works for you and your business and stick with it. And so what do I mean by that is finding your minimum. I always like to stress to my clients that you do not need to post every day on social media to be successful. I personally suggest 3 to 4 times a week for small businesses, but finding your minimum and being consistent is more important than just throwing stuff up to throw it up when you have an idea. If you can only commit to 2 times a week, but you're doing it consistently, that's better than posting 7 times a week, but posting really poor content that's not really serving you, your ideal customer client or your business. And then again, don't recreate the wheel. So I always suggest go back to those insights, see what your best performing posts are, and recreate those. No one's thinking, for me, my best performing post was one that I did about hashtags over a year ago. And if I post about hashtags tomorrow, no one's going to be like, oh, she posted about that last year. And even if I post it next month, no one's really going to care. People, if they liked it once, they're going to like it again. So yes, while you do want to always be creating and having fresh ideas, you don't need to recreate the wheel every time. And then the last key difference, and this one's probably the most important, is engagement. So when you're on your personal accounts, if you're like me, you're often scrolling mindlessly, kind of liking like my friends or my family's posts, maybe leaving a comment every once in a while. Maybe not, maybe you're just scrolling and not doing any of those things. But for your business accounts, your professional accounts, you really need to engage meaningfully with your current audience and your ideal customers or clients daily. And by engaging, I don't just mean like going through and liking posts, but you also need to be commenting and in the feed, stories, and hashtags. And so let's see. And there's a really key reason for this. And it has to do with the algorithm. And so everyone's always like, oh, my posts aren't, working because the algorithm hates me, or things like that. And I put this information here because Instagram recently just released this, and this is exactly how Instagram ranks your posts or how they're shown to people. And this, yes, is Instagram confirmed this, but I would have to believe that if Instagram is confirming this, a lot of the other social media platforms probably work in the same way. And so number 1, how the algorithm is showing your posts to others is information about the post. So what time it was posted, what is it about, all of those things. Information about the poster, so information about yourself. So if you're a business, what kind of business, what do you often post, where is your location, all of those things, your activities. So if you're someone who, and also has to do with sort of the viewer. But if you're someone who tends to interact more on the feed, or you're someone who tends to watch more reels, or you're someone who tends to stop on video, they're going to show you things that you often enjoy viewing. But the fourth one, and this is why I say that engagement is key, it's based on your interaction. So if I'm the viewer, it's going to show me things that I've interacted with previously, or businesses, or things that are similar, almost look-alike. But it also has to do with your interactions as the business and the poster. So basically, if you want your content to be coming up in front of your ideal customer or client, you need to be interacting with them as well. It's almost like a two-way street. And so that's why I always stress engagement, and that it's so key for businesses, not only to get their posts seen, but to see growth on social media. So I would advise you, in a perfect world, which I know, especially for small business owners, does not exist, but if you have 30 minutes per day to engage with your audience and stay top of mind, that is my probably biggest advice to you. And I like to break it down: 10 minutes in your feed, 10 minutes responding to stories, and 10 minutes in hashtags. If you maybe don't have 10 minutes, you can try to say, I'm going to comment on 10 posts today. But that sort of 10 number really makes it easy to keep it like something that I like lists. So I like to mark it up my checklist that it's done. And then also start local and grow outward, I think is really key for small businesses. Yes, especially if you can service people outside of the local area. We always want to be like as big and as best and all the things that we can be, but starting by growing in your local community, you will continue to grow outward from there. So try engaging with other like-minded business owners, places you already frequent in the community, and then your friends and family, things like that, that you're probably already doing, but as your business page. And so when we go back to the question of, oh, well, it's so easy because I already do it for my personal accounts, they are very different. And is running a professional social media more work? Absolutely, yes. There's a lot more strategy that is behind it to see success, but it is also so worth it once you've done the work and you've found something that works for you. And I always like to say, you don't have to do it alone. I love to be a cheerleader for other small and local businesses on social media. So let's connect and cheer each other on. And
Excellent. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Cool. So do we have questions from the audience? Questions for Lindsay?
I have a question.
Oh, Fred.
Yeah, so one of the problems that I encounter with social media is that it's an enormous amount of the time of the principal. And if you're a large business, of course, you pay people and the principal is not the key to it. It's about the business and so forth. But for small businesses, it's consuming enormous amounts of time. Is there any way reasonably to eliminate the personal time for the person that runs the business? And is it really feasible to outsource this, or is that just really not how it can work?
Yeah, so that's what I do. For a lot of my clients, I do run their social media and sort of almost just take it off their plate completely. There's also ways that you can do, you can have someone create a strategy for you or do monthly calls where you plan it all out together. I would say the key thing to making it less time consuming is planning ahead and then scheduling that content. So yes, it may take you, let's say 2 to 3 hours at once, but then you have it all done for the week or the month or however long ahead you've planned. And it's almost like a set it and forget it. So you're not, finding yourself at 8 p.m. going like, oh no, I forgot to post, and then spending hours thinking about what you should post. And then you're up all night and sort of stressing about it. But I would say if you're not at the point to outsource it, planning and batching the content and scheduling all at once is the #1 time saver for small businesses.
Can I
So
ask
I'm fascinated.
Okay, go ahead, Fred.
I'm sort of fascinated in what you said. So if I'm selling shoes, and it's a common product, then I guess it's easy to have somebody else, take small memes and turn those into advertising and marketing and so forth, and make wonderful videos. But if you're selling, high expertise sorts of things, if you're selling complex services and so forth, it seems to me that it's much more difficult to do that way. Having said that, 21CM seems to me like exactly that kind of business, right? You're selling high expertise that has to get personal with the client. So can you sort of talk to me about, how that gets differentiated in terms of the time and effort you spend?
So I'm not sure that I fully follow your question.
I think I understand.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the difference between social media strategy for a physical product compared to a service.
A commodity,
In essence.
a commodity versus a complex
Yeah.
service.
So yes, it's much easier to do a physical product because, it's very easy to make that sell for a customer of, you are getting this physical, tangible thing right away as soon as you buy it. So with services, you really have to focus on the value that you're providing to the client, the real true value. Because we're not giving you a shoe, we're giving you a boost to your sales because we're providing more followers or we're providing more advertising. We're providing more conversions on your website because we're optimizing your SEO, we're optimizing your keyword strategy. So it's really focusing on the true value of what you're getting from those services, compared to we're giving you a really nice shoe, if that makes sense. Does that help a little bit, Fred?
Yeah, sort of. The other side of that is it sounds like you're selling the same thing all the time. You're not coming out with something novel every week. Here's the Instagram strategy, here's the Facebook strategy, here's the newest on this, here's the newest on that, because that's what takes a lot of time and effort and expertise to even produce that sort of video. So what you seem to be saying is that you don't try to sell that way. Rather than providing new and better information all the time, you're providing the same information in different forms, and that eases the burden. Is that right?
That is one strategy. I mean, we are constantly learning because that is part of what we do, is that we are constantly trying to find new ways, new technologies, and integrating them into our services. I think that's what every good website developing company should do. Every good social media strategy company should do, is to stay on those trends and cutting edge platforms that are constantly coming out. We just heard from plumbing, we just heard we're going to be plumbing soon instead of Googling it. So that is part of it, that we're finding new ways of doing things. It just takes a little longer sometimes to inform everybody of the cutting edge technologies and new ways of doing things. It's just like Lindsay said, social media has been around for 20 years, but people aren't really seeing the value, really feeling the value until 2020.
Yeah, just for clarity, social media has been around a lot longer than that. It just wasn't in the same graphical form until after the web became more graphical in orientation.
Right.
So there's two other things I think I'd add in here. One is that social media is not really a good platform, a good medium for presenting complex information. It's just not designed for that. It's designed for teasing. It's designed for presenting one clear thought And then to me, driving them to the website where you've got a lot more real estate to explain, to lay out, et cetera. The other thing about social media is the personal nature, even in business. And especially when we're talking small businesses, really the owners of the business are as much the product as what they're selling. And so, Lindsay, one of the things I'm curious about is what do you do to get in sync with your customers? If you're taking over their social media, you need to present the social media in a way that communicates them. So what do you do to do that?
Yeah, so for my clients, we do sort of a really big social media strategy deep dive where first they get a bunch of questions about their business and their brand, how they want to come across, whether it's their voice or their brand colors or all of those things. Also, we talk about who their ideal customer and client is, who maybe their current customers are, but who they're having trouble attracting with their current social media strategies. And then not only do they provide that information, but we have, it's usually about an hour to an hour and a half, just really brainstorm and conversation and, seeing their business and all of those things. So I can really get to know who they are and the heart of their business. And I think what's one thing that's really, special about social media is exactly what Brad said, that it's not just the like, oh, here's my product or service and here's the sales pitch, but building relationships. Social media is about, relationship building and storytelling. So being able to hone in on the voice and values of a brand or business and sort of present that in a way that not only feels right for them, but also their ideal customer and client is part of the things that I absolutely love about my job. I also always like to let my clients double check everything before. So maybe there's a word that I use that they would, fill something else in. That gets into the expertise part too. But yeah, it's sort of it is, you run the social media for them, but it's also a collaborative effort to make sure that their brand is coming across in the best light and in a way that feels right for the client.
So it's interesting to me that you say it's about building that personal relationship. If you're in a store, that has to have 1,000 customers a year in order to survive, you can't build 1,000 personal relationships in a year, and social media, I don't think, is going to change that. So there must be some very specific niches where different strategies apply. Just wanted to note, Brad, that according to recent studies, at least on LinkedIn, longer, and Facebook also, longer content rather than shorter content is more effective at getting conversions into whatever the next step is. And I didn't do the study myself, but that's apparently those notions that you have are no longer true, and it's all evolving in terms of content.
And I agree with that. And I think using long form content is way underused in social media. But if you posted long form content all the time, I don't think that would work either. I think a mix is needed. But I agree with you, long form content, and there's more than one study out there saying that long form content does work. Absolutely.
Hey, Fred, could you put a link to that in the chat?
I don't have a link to it. I have a video from a guy that does this professionally that talks about that particular one. But so the other question is about these niches. So how do you identify and create these niches, and which social media matches with which niche over time? Has anybody developed a matrix that says, for this kind of audience, for this size of business, this many social connections, here's what you do? Or is it still just mysticism and everybody tries it and who knows what works?
Well, come on, what's wrong with mysticism?
It's fine. I just want to know which one it is.
Yeah.
I would say that that's almost equating social media to like a dating app. There's no formula necessarily that you can apply to it generally. You have to find what's specific to your business. And I mean, because that's like saying that the same the same strategy for the local shoe store on Alvarado Street would work for, you know, for a pair of, you know, really high-end designer shoes. It's totally different strategy, really depending on the product and the situation, because you have a different relationship with the client.
Could be. Other questions?
Could you give us an example of a social media strategy?
Absolutely. So, so when I took over 21CM,
Hey, Brad, did she take over 21?
Oh, I didn't tell you that? Yeah, she is now 21CM.
when I took over for 21CM, it wasn't just that we weren't posting very often. It was that we were posting things that were just projects. And it's like Lindsay was saying, people don't buy from companies. They don't buy from, they buy from people. So integrating content, like talking about the businesses that Brad's involved in, that he was celebrating things like that he's been a professor at CSUMB forever. We'll just say forever. That Lynette won an award through IIED for some of her accomplishments, that Lindsay was nominated for best new business, and so, you know, in Monterey.
She was the best.
She won for
No, they're still voting.
Yeah,
You guys can still vote for me.
they're still voting, by the way. So making integrating that into the strategy made us have a face, have a personality, make some of those connections. So that was one big piece of the strategy that I started using for 21CM. And like Lindsay said, also a great strategy was connecting with other local businesses. Even though we're a service, an abstract service, I love going to the farmer's market. I just want everybody to know I missed the farmer's market tonight to be here. But it is a prime place to look for some great people in the community. Not just great products, but great people with great stories. And so, you know, highlighting some of those people for absolutely free. You know, it was, you know what, you guys have a great product, you're great people. You know, you're doing some amazing things for the community. Those are things that added heart and added to the storytelling for 21CM. So those are things I think that people can really do to add value to their company. Is not just saying, hey, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is the latest project we're working on, but this is our team, this is our people, this is our village. It adds a little more touch to it. So that's
a very local strategy, right? So that's because 21CM is aimed locally, and certain social media has local geotagging associated with it and higher dissemination for local services. It's also leveraging the university, which is, you know, I don't know whether it's questionable or not, but that's fine. But so it seems to me that the strategy that you've devised is based on that. It's really based on you're a local presence. You have high regard locally. You've been successful locally, and it's a very sort of again very localized strategy. Adam, on the other hand, has, you know, he's basically trying to take over the world. So that presumably would be a completely different strategy, right?
Well, I would argue there are some differences too. If you logged on to our last presentation last month, a lot of large businesses like IKEA have local strategies to be just as successful. So there are sub strategies that large companies use as well. So that's another version of a different strategy.
So you're saying like every local IKEA store has a local strategy for every store?
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, because retail is in essence a local business.
Yeah.
If you're IKEA,
If you're, well, if you're any kind of brick and mortar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your main market, for the most part, is a local market. So-
Yeah, I live it in Salinas, and I can tell you that the Target in Salinas does not carry the same merchandise as the Target in Marina. So that they're still playing to a specific audience and to their local market.
I also, just going back to your question, Adam, about strategy and social media, to me, when I look at social media, I see what strikes me as often a strategy-free zone.
Mhm.
Social media, I think because it grew up as an interpersonal medium, I don't see people really building clear, this is what I want to accomplish, this is exactly who my audience is, this is what my messages are. You know, really building clear strategies and building social media campaigns.
Mhm.
And I think it needs that. It needs that
You
brought back
guys have been
in.
tossing around the term social media strategy a lot tonight, and I'm just wondering, what is one? What does one look like? Does it involve how you post, what you post, when you post, who you're trying to reach, what you're trying to do, what the metrics you're trying to, I mean.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely. So depending, I would say that depending on where your company is and what it's trying to do at the time, you would have different strategies on what you post and when you post and who you're marketing to. I'm working with a company right now, Cape USA, a nonprofit out of LA, and they're still building brand awareness compared to trying to get more applications for their programs and their and so
They're higher up in the funnel.
well, because they already have plenty of applicants.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, okay, so what do we want to talk about? You know, how is it that we've been around for 30 years, but nobody knows about us? You know, so that's a very different strategy from a startup that nobody knows about and they're not getting any applicants. I mean, which is kind of a strange situation. You would think that if more people knew about them, then it would be, you know, if people didn't know about them, then they wouldn't get applicants.
Enough of the white people know about them because they are full of applicants.
Yeah.
so I want to not lose our online people. See, this is why you want to be in the room. You be in the conversation. Are there other questions
Yes.
that folks would like to ask?
Maria from the online audience asks, what is your favorite scheduling tool?
Good question.
Yeah, so I think for small businesses, and depending on what platforms you're using, but if you're focusing on Instagram and Facebook, and I know, you know, as small business owners, we're always looking at, you know, the bottom line. I always suggest if you want a great scheduling tool to use the Facebook Creator Studio because it's free and you can post to both Instagram and Facebook. If you want something a little bit more robust, and like Brad mentioned, these tools often have better analytics and like ways that you can export those into really nice, clean reports. But something like Later or Buffer or Sprout Social all work really wonderfully.
Yeah, I'd also like to add Hootsuite, which is they have a free version and a premium version. So that's also one that I suggest you check out.
Can you repeat that name?
Hootsuite,
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite.
And I personally like Hootsuite also because I like it for batch posting. With Later, I have issues copying posts over to multiple platforms. But Hootsuite, it's like you just list all the platforms you want and it comes up for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they have an image search. I don't support stock photos, but if you need them in a pinch, you can find them through Hootsuite also.
Yeah. Percy asked, can you discuss strategy for a company that has a single product that can be seen as seasonal and how to expand that season?
Are we talking about pie?
Yeah.
Please tell me we're talking about pie,
Very
Percy.
much.
Oh, man.
World's best sweet potato pies.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, you do not just sell pie or a single product. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Well, I didn't know what we were talking about, so I'm okay. I think kind of exactly what you were just saying is, you know, you can say, yes, this is seen as a single product in a single season, but social media is a storytelling app. So if you can build those stories around, you don't just sell pie, but you're selling memories, you know, for a family, whether that is Thanksgiving or maybe it's a favorite treat. So they now serve it for birthdays or special occasions or a wedding, but how is it, it's not just pie or it's not just Thanksgiving or not just Christmas, but telling the story around the pie and what it means to people outside of just, you know, like a wonderful, delicious dessert is probably what I would suggest, and focus on those stories from your customers and what it means to them.
Percy,
I have a different conceptual approach to selling pies. There's all sorts of movies that reference pies. An example, right, is Men in Black. And there's this scene in Men in Black where they're talking about pie.
We need pie.
Right. Yeah. And that solves the problem, right? And so there's probably at least 100 references like that to pie in the movies. And if you can pull out little snippets and just have it be Percy's pies and their statements, you know, their video, little chunk of video, that could be a gorgeous strategy for getting people to say, oh yeah, I really like pie. And they click here and buy a Percy's pie.
Oh,
You just have to have a good pie.
We
He
really
does
Yeah.
really good pie.
Percy, you're on for next
Yeah.
month.
Plus,
Yeah.
you'll get testimonials you can share on social media too.
There we go.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. So, one of the things you were talking about, how many times to post, and one thing I heard a couple of years ago that's always stuck with me. Guy Kawasaki was talking about doing his social media, and he said that he'll actually post the same post multiple times in a day, in the morning to catch those people who are skimming through their timeline in the morning, in the afternoon to catch the afternoon people, and then about 11:30 at night to catch the night owls. And is that something you'd recommend, or is that pushing it too far?
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. Mostly because if I see the same post in my feed 3 times in one day, I'm gonna start getting pretty annoyed, or like it almost feels like bombarding. And I guess that is a great way to work around the algorithm, but it also seems like a good way to maybe get some
Irritate your-
unfollows.
Yeah.
I could see one way that it would work if you post it on different platforms. So
Yeah.
like
Or if-
Facebook early risers,
Yeah,
Instagram night owls.
or if you do a similar message but a different graphic,
Mhm.
then that might work. At least it doesn't look like you're just copying and pasting through the whole entire thing. But yeah, you don't want to no social media spamming.
Well, that's how you lose
So
followers.
you do know that works, right? That's been pretty well tested and demonstrated, especially if you have a large following, right? So if you have, 10 or 20,000 followers and you post it, probably 100 of them or so will see it. And maybe if you get some likes or something like that, it'll go out to another couple hundred. But if you want to reach that whole audience, you have to post it multiple times.
And supposedly people see a third of what you send out, right? So if you send out 3 of the same thing. Exactly.
I mean, that's a basic advertising principle, right?
Yeah.
You got to hit it with the same message multiple times.
People see about 1 out of 3 of what you send out, and it takes about 9 touches to get anybody to do anything.
Yeah, so 27 times.
Right, so social media, you can do that in 20 minutes.
I think what I always find about sort of these like social media gurus or, experts, and they're giving you all this wonderful information and they're like, do this, is that all of that is great information, or they're telling you to, you know, post 3 times a day and post 5 reels a week and make sure you're showing up on stories 20 times per day. And all of that is great for them to tell people. But when we're really getting, I guess, to the core of this presentation as a small business owner, those gurus have teams behind them that are creating all of that content and posting them for them and scheduling. And when we're talking about, you know, a mom and pop brick and mortar or restaurant or anything like that, they honestly just don't have the time. We were talking about sort of the, you know, time cost for small businesses. And that's why I always suggest 3 to 4 times, but doing what you can do as a small business owner and making it consistent, and really nurturing the audience that you do have is more important than following any, you know, rule that someone's just throwing out there.
So isn't it perhaps the case that social media is a good place to get them in the door? But after that, if you really want to get to them, you need something like their email address, and you need to use a direct marketing approach.
Yeah, so I would say that any business, social media should not be your only form of marketing. Just, you know, just like I would say, like on the flip side, email shouldn't be your only form of marketing, because you need something to get their email in the first place, or you need a website to collect it. So I would never say that social media should be the only thing that you're doing, but it is a great place to start, build, and nurture relationships. And when I say relationships, it doesn't mean that it has to be a direct personal one-on-one relationship. I have plenty of, you know, people that I've met through social media that, you know, respond to my stories or to my posts that I've never worked with, because we have built relationships through that app. But really the relationship that I'm talking about is more when someone decides that they are ready to work with you or be a patron at your business, they already feel like they know you because you're putting like that little piece of yourself out there on the internet.
So it's really branding.
It's early funnel and kind of late stage, I think, Fred. So it's you know,
it's branding
stuff and then keeping the awareness up in a crowd once you're there.
Yeah, so almost at the top, if you will, but then at the recycle part of the bottom, maintaining that relationship post-purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very interesting. I think that's a great place for us to bring this to a close. Lindsay, that was fabulous.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We will have you back again. And I want to thank the audience for being here and asking great questions. I want to mention that in a few days, it takes us a few days to process these, but this will be up on our website at 21cmdigitalmarketing.com and available forever. Lindsay's brilliance will be out there for posterity to partake of.
It's going on the blockchain. It'll be there permanently.
There we go. So that brings tonight for a close, our first hybrid meeting. We're moving toward being back together, and it is fun being real people in a room, but we really appreciate the people who joined us through Zoom, and we intend as we go forward to stay that way and keep it hybrid. We'd love to have you join us here, but if online is how it works, online is great. We always ask for topics for the future. What would you like to hear about? What are your questions that you have about digital marketing that you'd like us to address? Please put those in chat, and we will pick those up at a future point in time. So what have we got coming up? Next time, we're going to take a look at Google My Business, which is a somewhat overlooked tool. I think lots of folks know they should be on Google My Business, but almost nobody is using the really strong capabilities that Google My Business has. So we'll be looking at those in September, and that is on September. Anybody got a calendar? The 4th Tuesday in September, whatever date that is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's the 4th Tuesday in September.
It's the 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
September 28th. And for those of you with websites, and you want to check and see how healthy is your website, we have an offer for a free website health report. If you go to 21cmdigitalmarketing.com/free site rating report, we'll get you a free report about how's your website doing from a back-end SEO standpoint, not so much measuring keywords, but looking at how quickly are your pages loading? Are there dead ends in your website? Are there missing pages in your website? Do you have toxic sites that are connecting to your website, which happens a lot? And Google doesn't like toxic websites, websites that are just out there to try to make connections and try to fool Google. So get our free site rating report. We like to keep Pernella busy doing those. And I think that's it. Do we have anything else? That's all? Okay, cool. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening. Stay safe, everybody. Let's get rid of this Delta variant so we can get back to real life. Bye, Fred. Bye.